Brian Ragland with the Racing Boys, talking with co-owner Joe Kosiski as we are on the Saturday before the Silver Dollar Nationals, the finals for $53,000. And the first thing that I think about when, well, let's back up to last year. They had the whole COVID issue. Knoxville ended up that they weren't going to be able to have the Nationals, and you guys step up and pull up the I-80 Nationals, and then it turned out so well. Hey, you're just going to go ahead and do it again, so you have 5 nights and a purse of over $500,000. That's just literally incredible.
Well, me and Steve said we'd try to do it and see how it comes out. We're not positive that we're going to come out, but we'll see. When we get all done here after 5 days, we're going to know. We're hoping for a great crowd tonight, which we usually do on our Silver Dollar Nationals, $53,000 to win, and then we'll know what we're going to do for 2022.
Plus your breakdown on your payout, last place is 10% of first place, which in most cases is absolutely unheard of, and your breakdown, that alone just brings the drivers in. Plus, as I talked about this morning on the Racing Boys, when you have a 5-day show at the same place, these guys don't have to worry about the fuel costs and the mileage, and if something happens to the cars that now we have to get there as soon as we can so we can work on it. They have the ability to work on it when they get done and don't have to worry about the travel.
Yeah. The 5 days really, as a racer, makes a lot of sense because of that travel fees that they have. They have nothing. They've had a $30,000 to win, a $53,000 to win. If you came and made both races, you're making about $7,500 just to make both races. And if you didn't make the race, the last chance race tonight, or not the last chance, the non-qualifiers race tonight, which the leader can still move into the race if he wants, the winner can. But the non-qualifiers race tonight has a $35,000 purse just for the non-qualifiers. That's better than most purses at most big shows everywhere in the country.
And when you take a look at, and a lot of people talk about, and I've listened to James Essex talk about, like the prelude coming up to this and comparing it to the other tracks, you guys have put yourself on a staple to where you're one of the big shows that a lot of the drivers really look forward to, and they almost consider it one of the crown jewels.
I don't think they consider it one of the crown jewels. All of them are saying it's the crown jewel for us to be racing for. There's races that pay a lot of money. There's races that pay, but they don't pay top to bottom a lot of money. And this one pays a lot of money top to bottom. It's just kind of rough that, with the Summer Nationals and then the Southern Nationals, and there's 3 or 4 different groups that's going on that has a lot of races that makes it kind of tough for us to be able to get what we really need to get for cars. I mean, I would like to see 60. We got 45. I'm good with that.
That's still a good car count. And when you take a look at, and the thing that I like about it is you have guys like Popschul that has really been running well, and some of the local guys are actually coming in. The Simpsons they run with the series, but not full time. But these guys are still competitive, so a lot of that local flavor comes in, and that still helps brings the crowd in.
Yep, that helps 100%. We try to do it. A lot of crowd don't like when a track runs, a show like this and tries to run 5 and 6 classes of cars. That sometimes takes the flavor of the show and sours it. And we're trying to do it with 1 class of cars. We done it last year with our Nationals that way. When Knoxville canceled, we took the Nationals over. We done it that way with the Nationals, and it seemed to really work. So we've done it this year. We've only run 1 class of cars each night. We switched the classes up a little bit, and we've had some magnificent racing. I mean, our late model race was good. Our crate late models, we call them bragging rights late models. We had them the first 2 nights. We had the stock car division the second night, probably the best race of the 4. Yeah. And then last night we had the modifieds, and they had a heck of a race. I mean, it was a side-by-side go there for a while, and it was a really good race. But most of it really speaks that I-80 Speedway races from top to bottom a pretty good racetrack, makes it racy for a lot of classes.
And obviously, you being in the forefront, your brother Steve works the track, and he kind of takes the backside of it. And we did a great interview with him last year inside the truck to really bring out his side of it on the track prep. But you being out in the forefront really take a lot of the credit for, how everything runs. And a lot of people don't think about the sponsorship that it takes to pull something like these 5 days off.
The sponsorship's incredible, and realistically, Steve does a lot for the racetrack. I do a lot in the front side promotions, but without the rest of the staff, we wouldn't be nothing. I mean, our staff, we've got a great staff. We try to help any of the tracks or anybody else's staff. We got a couple staff people working with us this weekend from a couple other tracks. Just want to try to get the feel of what they need to be in order to be in them better races and things. And we do a lot working with the sponsors and a lot of great people that do want to help if they're asked. I mean, we've got Imperial Tile does the Silver Dollar Nationals. We've got L Belt Custom Homes does the I-80 Nationals. 2 days apart, but they're willing to share it. Now think about this: L Belt's one of Imperial Tile's best customers, so it kind of falls together that they work together. But they're both race fans, and they both do it together with us. We picked up sponsorships for our modified division. We got a sponsorship from Wojo Painting and Mook Trucking that took care of first place in both modifieds. And then, of course, you get the Malvern Bank, which they're going on the Dirt Track Bank. It's a subdivision of theirs. And Dirt Track Bank put in $500 every night for the lower tier division. Mm-hmm. So it's $2,500 that he put in, $500 each night for all 5 nights. We just got to have all them sponsors. AM Concrete took care of one of the nights with the crate cars. Poker Trucking and Strobel paid the heat race money last night. But first thing you got to have is you got to try to get people that love racing, that want to be involved. Lyle's Discount Tire is done the Last Dance, Last Chance, Last Dance race on Thursday night, and S&S, which you look at most of these trucks and trailer rigs, we're lucky enough they're across the street from us, so we bring them a lot of business this week when everybody comes in.
It kind of helps when you come into the track. Oh, we can get it right there. That's all we need.
Right. There's S&S. So, and they take care of tonight. They pay out quite a bit of money for tonight's non-qualifiers race. So they're not trying to give it all just to the guy that wins the race. They're trying to put it back and give it to the guys that aren't making the race. So, and a lot of those guys don't even have the big trucks and trailers that they're selling. But you never know the day that you might have that big truck and trailer, and next year you might not make that race. And so it's going back to them. And we keep trying to keep the purses high because of them people, and we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it just on ticket sales if we didn't do it without all the great sponsors we got. I'm hoping I ain't forgetting somebody, because that's the worst thing. The worst thing I could do is forget somebody, but I hope I'm not forgetting anybody on this, and we'll see how it goes. And I'm hoping to try to run the same program again for 2022 and run the same Silver Dollar Nationals and L Belt Custom Homes I-80 Nationals again next year, and see what happens.
One thing that I noticed today, and well, I'm not gonna say I noticed today, I ended up doing a interview with Dave Algebright, so I was going to do a little bit of research on him and come to find out that this is his last year with the Lucas Oil Late Model Series on doing any kind of media work with him. He's going to retire, and it kind of goes to the same question I asked him. The relationships that you have with the different bodies and the drivers and everything, they come up to you being the front man pretty much. It's kind of that same deal. You've been working with Dave Algebright when he comes in with interviews and stuff. That's one heck of a guy we're going to miss around during the Silver Dollar Nationals.
We're going to miss him a lot, because Dave does one whale of a job, doing that like you say, the first interviews, the interviews where it's going to bring something to the people. And my brother Steve, I hate that he doesn't get to do as many of these interviews, but he doesn't really care. He goes, "You be the spokesman. I'm happy with that." He says, "I don't mind doing the work that I do, because I get to watch the pride he's got making a perfect racetrack. When I'm seeing him, he's calling me on the radio. I need to pack this. I need to do this. I want this race to be perfect at the end." Right. That's what we're really hoping for, is a perfect race at the end of the race, not in the heat race, not in the time trials. We want it to be perfect at the end, and that's what we're really shooting for.
Talking with one of the owners, Joe Kosiski, as we get ready for the Silver Dollar Nationals here on the Saturday night. And a few years ago, I asked you if it was Davenport in the field. Last year, I asked you if it was Jimmy Owens and Brandon Shepard in the field. This year, do we go Brandon Overton or Tyler Erb in the field? So I'm going to put you on the spot. Who are you thinking? Remember, you got a close local guy in Chase Youngin starting up front, and you've got the hot shoe that's really coming up and improving in Stormy Scott in the front row.
I got to ask you this. Who are you picking?
Oh, Lord. They asked me that this morning. And I went, you got to go with the hot shoes of Brandon Overton, the #1 ranked driver in late models right now. Tyler Erb, with what he did Wednesday and Thursday, is pretty tough to beat. You've got 80 laps. The track's going to go through transition. There's going to be cautions. So kind of like what Brandon Overton was talking about, starting in the back really is going to make that much of a difference as long as you make the field. And if you have a good car, you're going to work your way up. So I kind of boxed Tyler Erb and Brandon Overton.
I really feel you probably got the two of the better picks. I'm hoping a little bit deeper, a little bit different.
Remember, Overton's starting dead last on the A main, so
yeah,
you're talking pulling someone out of the Bs.
No. I'm not saying it that way. I'm saying somebody that hasn't won for a couple of years or done a really big race.
EPJ.
So, I'd love to see EPJ, Scott Bloomquist.
Can you imagine this place if Bloomquist wins?
Could I imagine this place if EPJ wins? I mean, seriously, we're talking guys that, you know, they give their heart. They're doing it. Every one of them guys are doing it with their heart. Them guys that do it for a living, and we need to get them guys a win in here once in a while. But I don't want to take nothing away from Brandon Overton or from Tyler Erb. I'd love to see the 18 car Chase Younghans. He's had a terrible year really so far.
And he comes out with a new car and he ends up doing really, really well. So on the front row, I'll even give you a guy. This place will go nuts if he wins. Coming out of the B would be Ryan Gustin.
Oh, yeah. This place would just erupt if Ryan Gustin win. I mean, you know, you just said, think about it. And I don't know who they won't be excited to win as long as it's a good race.
Year in and year out, it's just been great. You take a look at, you know, Brandon Shepard last year. He was sitting in third, and it was like 20 to go, and he takes off. Well, then I call him the quiet assassin of the race, Chad Simpson, comes up and finishes third. He comes from out of nowhere. It'd be nice to see Chad or Chris win it.
Absolutely. Like I said, any of them guys that haven't won a race, I don't want to take anything away from. We got great guys that's won.
Yeah.
You know, Tim McCready, he's still leading the points this year. Hudson O'Neal would be neat to win. He's never won one. Jimmy Owens has had a really rough year. He would be neat to win. I really can't pick one. That's what I'm having the hardest part about.
You're trying to pick the Eric Amarola of the late models for tonight.
Yes, and Eric's won before, so I'm not trying to say I don't want him to win, but yes, I would just love to see that not a horrible underdog, but the guy that we know is here that could win. You know, Frankie Heckenest has been here a number of times.
And Frank just got done with one of his first wins, and he's been driving well.
He won 2 of the World Outlaw races just a week ago or so, and been running really good. It'd be nice to see him finish running. As long as we have a great race and there's like 10 cars running for the lead through the night, we're good with it.
Is there anybody in the field we haven't talked about yet? Including the Bs and the Last Chance. I think we pretty much covered the field.
I think there's Chris Ferguson, and I think there's Josh Richards, and I think I could set and keep going on. And
we haven't talked about Davenport and Tim McCready 1 and 2 in the points.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I would not have a problem with either one of them winning as long as they do it on the last couple laps.
There you go.
And that's what McCready did last year on the I-80 Nationals. You know, just a couple laps to go, he took the lead. We've seen some exciting racing, and that's really all I want. I want the fans, when they get done, to have that awe feeling. That's what I like to see about racing. Like, they want to sit there because they don't want to leave, because they want more and they don't know how to ask for it because the race is over.
Right. But at the and year in and year out, at the end of the race, everyone's just smiling, going, "Wow, that was fantastic."
Yeah. And then they want to be back for 2022.
And we're ready. Do we come back next weekend for the next one?
That's what everybody would like a lot of times. I hear that a lot. Can't we do this like 3 or 4 times? We do have a Go 50 this year that's going to be, it's the night before the Knoxville Nationals, our Go 50, which is a Lucas Oil race. It's on Wednesday night. I want to say September 15th, if I remember right. It's the Wednesday night, whatever that is right there. And we're having our Lucas Oil Go 50 that night. So I'm hoping a lot of people can come and visit with us and watch that race, and then when they leave here, they drive to Knoxville and spend 3 days over there. So
not
I'm
a bad deal.
They get another week's worth of vacation out of them.
Talking with Joe Kosiski, and then of course we've got to do this every year, and it's always a great time talking with you. I mean, the people that help you out are always fantastic. I go by, I'm never surprised about how nice they are and everything, and smiles. Even though, I mean, we got great weather, even though it's hot, like you said. It's the end of July. It's what you're going to get. It's what it's supposed to be. Everyone knows it, and everyone's having a good time, and it's great being here again this year.
Well, the thing is about the end of July, I don't think there's anywhere in the country that isn't hot usually. You know, so we're going to be hot if that's the date you pick. And, you know, there again, my staff, we wouldn't have the Silver Dollar Nationals. You know, they come up with stuff. I've got great people below me, and we wouldn't be able to come up with what we do if it wasn't for them.
Talking with Joe Kosiski, one of the part owners of I-80. It's great talking to you, and Yeah, someone. I'm pretty sure someone we talked about is going to win tonight. So we'll have to find out who it is.
I hope so.